Hello, I am back and looking forward to talking about my next topic, and that is the ego. Now, the ego isn't a machoism type of thing, that's only part of it. Ego is something that we all deal with, it's made up of our beliefs. We start developing these beliefs at a very early age. And there's nothing wrong with a lot of these beliefs. It's like, you shouldn't scream in a restaurant, or, and you start, it's behavioral. What's appropriate? And you start identifying, about behavioral, and that's all good stuff. We want to have good behavior. But what happens is, in time, you start developing beliefs, and beliefs are simply biology. They're not necessarily true. But at early age, we might start developing, if we're real small, you might get a complex of that over that. Or if you can't run fast, or you can't climb as quick as the others, or you may have even a learning disability. So all those things start playing into what you believe about yourself. And then we start carrying that on right up on into our adult life. And we continually add to those beliefs and build on them, and they compound and they become very entrenched in us. And pretty soon we don't even realize they're there, but they dictate our life every step. And that's the ego. And so it starts showing up, and a lot of times it's very, very irrational behavior, because you get your feelings hurt, or you get mad easily, and it affects you adversely. That is your ego, because it's got some beliefs. And so a husband may say something to his wife, he may even be complimenting, and she might go completely irrational. And don't tell her that, though. But anyway, she might. And it's simply because she has a belief, and that was filtered through that belief. Or a man, a wife may make a comment about something that the husband did, and it will completely set him off. It's the ego, because it's filtered through beliefs and perceptions about ourselves. And there comes a day that we have to become self-aware of this, because it's torture to live with these perceptions of ourselves that cause pain. And as I mentioned before in other videos, pain isn't a bad thing unless we just live in it and wallow in it. But if we use it for what it is, that the pain is just a sign that we need to change something. Take your hand off the hot stove, so to speak. That pain is giving you a signal. And so use that signal. If you find yourself that you get upset over certain things, explore that, dive deep into that, and understand, what is that about? Why am I responding the way I am? Now, all these talks are just really a continuation. They're all kind of based on the same thing. It's your choice between love and fear. And it comes down to that. And one of the first steps of inner peace is learning to love yourself. And that begins by exploring what you believe about yourself and examining what you were told. And was that really true? Is that really right? Now, the ego isn't really a creator, it's a reactor. So you want to treat it like that. And you have to minimalize it. It's never going to go away, and you don't want it to go away. It has a job to do. But you being the creator that you are, that you were created to be, because we're created in the likeness and image of God, who is the creator of all things, and that's what you are. You just have to believe it. Now, I was thinking about the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And there's so much there to look at and examine. But the story goes that they ate of the forbidden fruit, which was of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And they were cast out of the garden. And we examine it. Well, what is that really saying? Well, I look at it as that the tree of knowledge of good and evil was that they started judging themselves and perceiving themselves and changing their place in God and who they were and who they identified as. Because what immediately do? They go out and make them clothes out of fig leaves. Why? Because their identity changed. They all of a sudden felt naked. And I thought about how in society that we do that exact same thing. We're all covered in fig leaves. We're ashamed of who we are. Or we hide behind who we are. I guess is the same thing. But a doctor, he might not, but he may be hiding behind that perception. Or a minister, or a successful businessman. And then somebody else that maybe doesn't have that status, they may feel more vulnerable in where they are and try to compensate in some way instead of just being who we are. I am just a creation of God, just like you. I want to love and I want to be loved. I want to have experiences in my life that I enjoy. I want to have relationships that make life worth living. It's not complicated. But when we keep on reaching outside of ourselves for approval, for status, when we start looking inside and understanding that I am of value just who I am. You are of value just as you are. No matter what you do, no matter what your abilities are, no matter how pretty you perceive yourself to be, or handsome. My little boy, when he was little, or my son, I should say, when he was little, people would say, "You're so handsome." And he'd say, "I don't like handsome. I like cute and smart." And so, you got a choice. How do you want to define yourself? How do you want to perceive yourself? It's really up to you, and only you. I hope that you go today and you perceive yourself as God's gift. Because that's what we are to each other. When we really act out of just the purity of what God created us to be. I've heard the expression, there's two types of people: the victor mentality and the victim mentality. Choose the victor mentality, because the ego will choose the victim mentality every time. So if you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're shake yourself off, be compassionate with yourself, but get up and know that you're a victor. C.S. Lewis said that there's two types of people. One is the one that says, "Not my will, but thine be done." And the other one is, "Okay, fine, have it your way." Now, there's a path to walk. There are processes to go through. There are trials that we experience. And we have to learn to identify with ultimately what we were created to be, and not our immediate position in life, circumstances. Don't let them define you. Submit to yourself. Surrender to what God is doing in your life. Have faith. Believe everything's going to work out perfectly as it should. I love you, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again. And I hope you have a beautiful, blessed, and wonderful day. God bless you.